لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على نبي هذه الأمة وإمام الأئمة أفضل أنبياء الله محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين، سيما بقية الله في الأراضين وحجته على الخلائق أجمعين، الحجة ابن الحسن فداه أرواح العالمين. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، رسول حسين ونعم الرسول، إليهم من العترة الطاهرة. Hussein's messenger to the people of Kufa, and what a messenger. لقد بايعوا رغبة منهم. They gave their allegiance to him willingly. فيا بئس للبيعة الكاشحة. But they gave their backs, they broke the promise, and they gave their back to their allegiance. فيا ابن عقيل فدتك النفوس. May my life and our life be ransomed for yours, O son of Aqil. لعظم رزيتك الفادحة, because of the calamity that befell you. بكتك دمايا يا ابن عم الحسين. We shed blood instead of tears for you, O cousin of Hussein. مدامع شيعتك يا السافحة رموك من القصر إذ أوثقوك. They threw you from the palace. رموك من القصر إذ أوثقوك فهل سلمت فيك من جارحة. Breaking every rib, every limb in your body. وسحبا تجر بأسواقهم ألست أميرهم البارحة. They began to drag your body in the marketplace of Kufa. Weren't you their emir just yesterday? وسحبا تجر بأسواقهم ألست أميرهم البارحة. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. بعث عبيد الله بن زياد رسالة إلى الحسين، قال يقول أمير المؤمنين يزيد بن معاوية أن لا أشبع من بر العراق ولا أتوسد الوثير، حتى تنزل على حكمه وبيعة أمير المؤمنين يزيد والسلام. A messenger sent from Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam gave the Imam a letter from the governor of Kufa, who was appointed by Yazid and who eventually killed the Imam alayhi salam. In the letter, Ubaydullah wrote that the commander of the faithful, Yazid, told me that I should not eat and quench my hunger and thirst and shouldn't sleep on a mattress until I either kill you or you pledge your allegiance to Yazid ibn Muawiyah and submit to my rule. When the messenger delivered the message, Imam al-Hussein said, ما أفلح قوم اشتروا مرضات المخلوق بسخط الخالق. People will not succeed if they opt for the satisfaction of fellow human beings on the expense of God's pleasure and God's satisfaction. So the messenger said, what is your response to his letter? Are you going to write a letter? He said, no, I'm not going to respond to him. It is much easier to swim with the current and to embrace the norms and the standards of the society and to follow the status quo than to swim against the current. If you're slightly different from the rest of the people, you'll be a social outcast. You'll be an outsider to them. And we as Muslims, as minorities living in the West, we either have to blend in and merge into society and follow them in everything they do, or if we have certain principles that we abide by, certain beliefs, certain boundaries that we observe, we should preserve our identity and safeguard our religion. So it's either that we don't believe in those principles. My role would be to convince you to uphold these values. But if you do believe in those values, but make concessions on the expense of your principles in order to become more compatible with the lives of the society, the people of the society, there's something wrong. Farazdaq, the famous poet, he meets the Imam while he was on his way to the city of Kufa. The Imam says to him, how do you evaluate the people of Kufa? Because the people of Kufa were the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. They were the ones that experienced the justice of Amir al-Mu'mineen. I was mentioning this to a friend of mine a couple of nights ago, about how just the Imam was, Imam Ali alayhi salam. He did not accept anyone to be his bodyguard, to protect him, to walk with him, to be part of the entourage of the Caliph. And he was the president of over 50 countries, of our countries today. 50 countries. He's the supreme ruler, the commander-in-chief, the chief judge, you name it. He was the king of the kings. And yet he was very humble. Modest clothes, modest shoes. He once entered inside the marketplace of Kufa. He held his sword high up for the people to see. And then he called out, أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي مِنِّي سَيْفِي هَذَا. Who is willing to buy the sword from me? And this was something that they hadn't seen in the past. The czars, the pharaohs, no one would ever come alone in the middle of the marketplace to sell an item. And he's the Caliph of the Muslims. مَنْ يَشْتَرِي مِنِّي سَيْفِي هَذَا فَوَالَّذِي نَفْسُ عَلِيٍّ بِيَدِهِ لَوْ كَانَ عَنْدِي ثَمَنَ عَشَاءٍ مَا بِعْتُهُ. He said to the people that first of all, I would like to describe the item for you. فَإِنَّهُ سَيْفٌ طَالَمَا كَشَفَ الْكَعْبَ عَنْ وَجْهِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. It was this sword that was given to me by Archangel Gabriel when my sword broke in one of the battlefields. It was this sword that protected the Prophet for 23 years. The value doesn't lie in the iron or the grip. It lies in the fact that it protected the Prophet, protected Islam. The Prophet said, لولا سيف علي ومال خديجة لم يبق للإسلام عمود. لا ما قام للإسلام عمود. If it wasn't for two, the wealth of Khadija and the sword of Ali ibn Abi Talib, no pillar in Islam would have ever been erected. And he is in the marketplace to sell it. فَوَالَّذِي نَفْسُ عَلِيٍّ بِيَدِهِ. If I could afford buying dinner for my family tonight, I would not sell my swords. So the people of Kufa experienced the justice of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Once a man saw the Imam lying under a tree in the shade. He said, عَدَلْتَ فَاطْمَأْنَنْتَ. You are a just ruler, that's why you're certain no one wants to harm you. And even the one that harmed the Imam eventually and killed him and struck him with a sword, the Imam said to him, did I do anything wrong to you? I mean, what motivated you to kill me? Was it because I oppressed you? He said, no. فَأَنْتَ تُنْقِذُ مَنْ فِي النَّارِ يَا عَلِي. You want to save someone who's going to hell anyway? So it's not your fault, O Ali. He's admitting that it's not your fault. It's my fault. It's because of my malicious nature. So the people of Kufa wanted the Imam and wanted his son Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, especially after the events that happened when Muawiyah assumed power and became the ruler. Now they invited the Imam, but Farazdaq continues to say that their hearts are with you, O Aba Abdullah, but their swords are against you. When there is a conflict of interest, people tend to follow their desires, their urges, and whatever keeps them safe. But it's always easy to integrate into society and make concessions and not care about your principles and your religions and your boundaries and be exactly like everyone else. It's much easier because you're swimming with the current. But if you go against the current, it's difficult. It's very difficult. And at times it becomes literally impossible. Of course, the religion of Islam encourages us to live with everyone else. كُن فِي النَّاسِ وَلَا تَكُن مَعْهُمْ. Don't be like them. Live with them, but you don't have to be like them. I had a friend who lives in Switzerland, in Zurich. I visited him a couple of times. He sought asylum in the country. He's been there for 15 years. I said to him, how come you're not naturalized, you didn't become Swiss citizen? He said, because the rule here is that I should integrate in the society in a way that the fellow students in my classroom and in the school should all approve my integrity, should all approve that I'm part of the society now. In the neighborhood I'm living, my neighbors should all agree that I am eligible to become a Swiss citizen. And that's something impossible because I can't. My life is not completely compatible with theirs. I'm different. And we're different. We must realize that we're different. We dress differently. We eat differently. We socialize in a different way. And we raise our kids in a different way. And if we choose to be different, the difficulties will start to arise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَتُبْلَوُنَّ فِي أَمْوَالِكُمْ وَأَنفُسِكُمْ. You'll be trialed, you'll be tested with regards to your wealth, with regards to yourselves. وَلَتَسْمَعُنَّ مِنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا أَذًى كَثِيرًا. You'll be tested and you'll hear a lot of things from the people that received the book, the people of the book. And the people that ascribed partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, things that will hurt you. They will mock you. They will make fun of you. They will humiliate you. They will degrade you. They will launch smearing campaigns in the media outlets against you. But because you chose to abide by your principles. And rest assured that you cannot fully integrate in the society and be accepted by the society until you become exactly like them. Exactly like them. You party like them, you eat like them, you socialize like them, you dress like them.